Welcome in this history lecture. This is our first history lecture, and what is again my recommendation that before observing this history lecture, observe geography lecture number 1, because we discussed there some important geographical features in the world. So kindly observe that lecture and then start observing this history lecture. We are focusing on human history, and you are aware of the word history or historical period and prehistorical period. When written history is there, that period we are calling as historical period, and when any writing format are not available, but we are having certain evidences of human habitat, then that part we are considering as prehistoric period. Say for example, paintings in certain caves, like that in India we have a place in Madhya Pradesh that is called as Bhimbetka, where we have cave paintings of Stone Age man. So that painting and what they revealed there, that is considered as prehistoric part. So like that, all over the world, different cultures were developed, and ultimately they lost out also. So we have to discuss that all part. So you are having clear-cut idea that historical part, when man started out writing out each and everything, whatever the important incidents in their life, that part we are considering as historical period, and no written evidences are there, then that patch we are considering as prehistorical part. Now we are focusing on world somewhere 3000 years ago. Initially, Britishers or say Western historians were not ready to accept India or Indian history before 2600 years ago. They were saying that there are no evidences. Say from Indian side we were saying, yes, we have Ramayana, we have Mahabharata, and all ancient historical places we have. Say for example, the Ramayana occurred somewhere in Ayodhya, the birthplace of Lord Ram. Then when he was there, exiled from a palace, he was there, we are calling that as Vanavas, that live in jungle, and for that purpose he came to Maharashtra, that is Dandakaranya in those days, and then he marched towards Sri Lanka. So these all places, they are there. At Nashik in Maharashtra, there is place that is called as Panchavati. But all these places, whatever the written in Ramayana, but British historians were considering that Ramayana as epic. This is not reality. Many things are there that we should not consider Ramayana or Mahabharata as reality. We have to consider that that is only epic, and therefore again there were no evidence that Indian culture we can take 2600, 2700 years ago, not less, more than that. And ultimately we got a fantastic evidence, that is the Indus Valley civilization, that is there in Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. Harappa is there in Punjab part of ancient India, and modern days it is in Pakistan, Punjab. And same way Mohenjo-daro, that was there in Sindh Prant or Sindh territory in ancient India, and modern days it is in Pakistan, Sindh territory. Then same culture we obtained in Dholvira, that is in Ran of Kutch in modern India. In south we got this same culture, that Indus Valley civilization, till Daimabad in Maharashtra. So initially we got this Indus Valley civilization around river Indus, and then it was extended in Kutch, then Lothal in Gujarat, Kutch that is Dholvira, Lothal in Gujarat, and south Daimabad in Maharashtra, and north here we got evidences in all these Indus Valley. So this is the area where we got this Indus Valley civilization, and discovery reveals that this civilization, Indus Valley civilization, was lost 5,000 years ago. Keep in mind, our history get doubled out. They were saying that it was there in 2,600 years ago, we can discuss. But now we got evidence that civilization lost at around 5,000 years ago. When it was flourished, that is not known, but it was lost during 5,000 years ago. And to the surprise, according to ancient epics, that Mahabharata war was ended at that point only. We are calling in our Hindu ideology this era, we are calling as Kali era, Kali Yuga, that was started from around 5,200 years ago. So something that matching figures are also here. We are discussing this Mohenjo-daro and Harappa culture in latter part of our series of history, but Indian history extended like that. So this Indian civilization was flourished here. Now suppose I am going 3,000 years ago. Then we have to divide world into two parts. One part we are calling that as civilized world, another part we are calling that as nomadic tribes world. I am focusing on civilized world. What is civilized world? They were making their houses. Usually civilized world is having almost same characteristic as today we have. That is, they were making permanent houses, then agricultural based business, then secondary, tertiary like businesses also there, and using different mode of transport, but still they were having permanent house that where they settled out. Whereas nomadic culture was something different. They were just wandering here and there, no permanent houses. They were having fixed area, but they were not making permanent houses. Mostly they were wandering like uncivilized world. No creativity was shown, only hunting, food gathering, and destroying civilization like that concepts. Then we are calling that as nomads or nomadic tribes. The world was divided into these two parts, that nomadic tribes or uncivilized tribe and civilized part. I am trying to mark here the civilized world first. Remaining we can consider uncivilized. Now again, I am focusing here only on Africa, then Asia, Europe, in this part only. Here I have to say around river Nile or river Nile, that part was civilized. Then around this portion of river Tigris and river Euphrates, this is called as Mesopotamia, this is called as Egypt. In many books it is called as Mishra. So either Mishra or Egypt. In this part we are calling this as Mesopotamia. Here culture was there, that is called as Assyrian culture. Later this culture was shifted towards south side. We are calling this portion as Babylonian culture. Then certain portions in Asia Minor. Obviously certain part of Iran. This is Iran. So certain parts of Iran. And then in case of India, we have to consider this entire with known fact. We have to consider this is the territory that was civilized somewhere 3,000 years ago. So this way Africa, then parts of this Asia here, and I can't forget to mark this portion, that is China. In Sanskrit word is there that is called as Prachin, and nation of this name of this nation is also actually Chin. Britishers calling that as China, but actually pronunciation is Chin. So this part of world was civilized. Whatever I have shown in here green color, this part of world is civilized world.